Hi, this is Wendy. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining me. If you're new to my channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing if you find this video useful and that you'll check out some of my other videos. Today I'll be continuing the beginners series by showing you how to crochet ribbing. Well, why would you use ribbing on a project? Let's start there. There's two main reasons. First of all, it will add stretch to a garment to improve the fit. So for example, on this hat, we want the bottom of it, of course, to fit snugly around your head and not slide down over your eyes. So that's the first main reason. The second one is to make a project lie flat and have a sturdy finished edge. So if you had a lacy blanket, for example, and you wanted to finish off the edge, you could use a ribbing to take any curl out of it and to finish off the edge nicely. I'm going to demonstrate two basic types of ribbing today. So this is an example of the first one. This is a single crocheted in the back loop ribbing. So this is probably the most common type of ribbing. I'm going to show you how to replicate this yourself. And if you're interested, this hat project uses, of course, that same technique, and it's available elsewhere on my channel. So generally you would create this ribbing first, and then you pick up along the edge and continue your project going from there. So if I wanted to do that, I would start with a chain. In this case, I have a chain of 8, and it's going to result in a ribbing that's 7 stitches wide, because the last one is my turning chain. So after my chain, I'm going to go into the second chain from the hook and simply do a single crochet row across. So it will result in 7 single crochets. The first rows are always a little fiddly because there's not much to hold on to. Okay, so there's my 7 single crochets, like so. If you still need to practice your single crochet, go back to the first video in this series and I'll show you step by step how to do this. Now that I'm at the end of the row, I'm going to chain 1. And I do find with ribbing, I get a better result and a neater edge if I tug that chain 1 a little bit, snug it up a little. Turn it to the back, and I'm going to single crochet back across, but only in this back side of the V. So you can see the V's across the top of the work here. I'm only going to single crochet in the one that's further away from me, not under both like I would typically do in a project. So in that second one from the hook, because of course the first one is the turning chain, insert your hook, pick up a loop, and pull through both for a single crochet. Continue that across. And if you need to, count. Make sure you've still got 7. You don't want this ribbing to get all wavy, bigger and smaller. Okay, same thing. Chain 1, snug it up, turn, work in the back loop only. And I'll put the abbreviations on the screen so that you can recognize it when you come across it in a pattern. It will say single crochet back loop only, or BLO. The last one likes to hide a little bit, so don't miss out on that one. Okay, and you'll see after a few rows, it starts to give this bumpy up and down effect. And that's how you create a ribbing. There are a couple different ways to use this. Okay, so you can see that's why it's called ribbing, because these look like ribs as you go along. And it gives a bit of a stretchy effect. I guess a third reason for using ribbing is to get kind of a thicker fabric. So you could use this for something like a dishcloth, but that wouldn't technically be ribbing. That would just be a stitch effect. Okay, so a couple things I can do here. In the case of a hat like this, I'm going to turn my ribbing to the side and pick up stitches along this edge. And your pattern will generally say how many stitches to pick up. I find that if I do one per row, it can generate the right amount of stitches. Okay, and then I would just continue around working on those stitches. So that's what I did here. The other option is to create your whole ribbing first, however long you want it to be, and sew it onto your project later. So depending what your project is, let's imagine that this is the side of a hexagon cardigan, for example. I could do my ribbing and then stitch it on to the front edge of the cardigan to form a ribbing along the front. So that's a second possibility. The third possibility is to join it as you go. So again, pretending this is the edge of my cardigan, what I could do here after I chain one at the end of the row is actually pick up, let's see if I can show you here, pick up a stitch on the edge of my cardigan, pull this chain one through, whoops, there we go. Don't let it get too loose on you like I did there. And then do your row. Go back, chain 7. Sorry, single crochet 7. I'm just going to adjust my light here a little bit. It seems to be flickery. Hopefully that's better. Turn it around, go back, and do the same as we did before. One in each back loop. This is a good option if you don't like sewing stuff on afterwards. It's also a good option for creating a button band, so you can put your buttonholes in the proper place, and I will make another video explaining how to do a button band. Okay, so there I'm at the end. I'm going to do my chain 1, go back to the edge of my sweater, figure out which one I want to attach to. Now keep in mind, you want this to be slightly stretched, so you need to space it out along the side of your cardigan or your project so that it doesn't bunch up and get all wavy. It should be slightly stretched. So I'm going to join it again there, snug it up, and work my way back. I'll do a couple more rows and show you what it looks like. Okay, so now you can see how I've attached the ribbing on the side of the work as I've been building it up. So those are some options for a single crocheted back loop only ribbing. The second kind of ribbing I did on this little hat here. It's got just pointy corners. It was just a rectangle that I folded in half and seamed up each side, and then I added this ribbing on afterwards. And this is a front post and back post ribbing. Here's another example in the plain yarn, and you can see it's still fairly stretchy. It's a little thicker than the other example, and I think it actually excels for the second purpose that I talked about. So if you wanted to finish off the edge of something to give it a sturdy edge, this one works really well for that. but it also works for garments such as a hat like this. So it's worked a little bit differently. Let's do that on this edge of this granny square. So if this again was my blanket or cardigan or whatever I'm making, I'm going to start with a row of double crochets. This could also be done in treble crochets. The height of it is variable. So I'll start with 7 or 8 double crochets, or 9. I think I'll go with 9 because that's a nice odd number for what I'm trying to do here. 3, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so the first row of your ribbing is just a simple row of double crochets like that. Now for the second row, I'm going to chain 2. I don't need quite the height of a double crochet here. Turn it around, and then I'm going to double crochet front post, okay, or sometimes called front post double crochet. I'll put that abbreviation on the screen. So a front post double crochet means that instead of going under this V here, like I typically would at the top of my double crochet, I'm going to take my hook and put it around the body of the double crochet, like that. So right around this post, that's why they call it a front post. So going underneath the crossways part that I typically would go into, I'm going to go around this part, okay? And since it's a double crochet, front post double crochet, I'm going to wrap the yarn first, go under that double crochet, pull a loop back, and finish my double crochet. In the next one, I'm going to do a back post double crochet. You can see that this is the same on both sides in a sense, right? This one I did the front, this one I did the back, front, back, and so on. Back post double crochet, the abbreviation will be on the screen. It means to go into the back of the post, like this. So it's a little awkward. You got to flip your work around towards you and go under the back. So yarn over, go under the back of that post. I hope you can see that okay. Pull a loop back. Oop, like I said, it's a bit awkward. Try again. Okay, now I've got the 3 loops. Go through 2 and through 2. There's my double crochet done. Let's practice another front post one. Yarn over, under the post of the stitch, pick one up, go through 2 and 2. Now the back one. Yarn over, go under the back of the stitch, like that. Pick up a loop. This yarn's a bit slippery. Had to add a little more tension to it. There we go. 2 and 2. Now the next one is a front. And a back going behind. Another front. And in this last one, the double crochet, I'm going to do a half double crochet to finish the row because I don't need the height of a double crochet, it's shorter. Okay, so my last one here is a half double crochet. So I've got 4 ribs on the front and 3 ribs on the back in this case. Next row, chain 2 to step up, turn around, and I need to look at where my posts are. So this next stitch, the rib is on the back. So I'm going to start with a back post double crochet going under that rib. Okay, can you see that? So I want to go underneath that post there. Don't catch the extra stitches underneath, you want just the post. Pick up the yarn, add some tension, do it again, there we go. The next one is on the front. Go under the post. Next one's under the back. See that? Under that post. Hang on to it so it doesn't get away from you. And again, alternating under the front one. Yarn over, under the back one. Watch out for catching extra stitches on your way through, especially on that back post one. There's one more left here, and it's on the back. Go under it, pick up a loop. Oh boy, should have used less slippery yarn. And do a double crochet there. Now I'm down to this last stitch. I'm going to do a half double crochet in that turning chain there. So I yarn over, pull one up, and then yarn over and pull through all three for a half double. Okay, so there's your ribbing. You would just continue for however much width you want to finish off the edge of your project. Now there is a variation on this. If you don't want it to be quite so thick and you just want to see these bumps on the front, which is really nice for a blanket, maybe the stretch is not as important as the finished edge. So chain 2, and in each stitch across I am going to, depending, let's say this is my front side. Okay, and this is going to be my back side where I don't want to see the ribs. So my first stitch is on the front. The post is on the front. So I'm going to do a front post double crochet. And then for the next one, just a half double crochet because I don't need the height. Then a front post double crochet. And then a half double. Half double, another front post, and a half double to finish it off at the end. That one's kind of hidden behind, so watch out there. Okay, I'll do one more row, going back, chain 2. Now, our posts are on the back, and this is going to be the flat side. So I am going to, in the first one, figure out whether it's a half double or a double crochet in the back. Well, the first one is the post on the back here, the rib on the back. So I'm going to do a back post double crochet in that one. And a half double in the next one. Then a back post double in the next one. And a half double in the next one. Back post. Half double. One more in the back post because that's where the rib is. and a half double at the end. Okay, so you'll see you get a flatter side here and just the ribs on the front. I actually really like the way that one works, and it looks really good. So again, a little less stretchy, but a nice effect if you want to do a ribbed edging. So on this side, you'll do a front post, half double, front post, half double, and on the other side, you'll do back post, half double. And that's how you get that kind of a ribbed effect. So I hope you enjoyed this and you'll try it for yourself, and come back for the video on adding a button band in ribbing. For example, you'd use that on a cardigan. And if there are any other questions or things that you would like to see demonstrated so that you can learn it, please drop me a comment and let me know what you'd like to learn about. Thanks for joining me today, and have a super day.